and welcome back. So today we have a workshop. നമ്മൾ രാവിലെ പാനൽസ് കേട്ടു, സെഷൻസ് കേട്ടു, we had lightning talks and everything. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ന് നമുക്ക് കുറച്ച് വെറൈറ്റി ആയിട്ട് we have a workshop. Can you read the title? It's Wheel of Life and Possibility Board. So I know ആർക്കും വലിയ we don't have much idea and that's why we are here for the workshop. I hope you all have an amazing session and we have with us Nisha Menon, a senior analyst at EY, and let's all welcome her with a huge round of applause.
Hi all. തിരിച്ച് റെസ്പോൺസ് എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യും ഞാൻ. സോ ഹായ് അഗൈൻ. യെസ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ സ്പിരിറ്റ്. നൗ ലെറ്റ് മീ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് മൈസെൽഫ്. ഐ എം നിഷ. If you don't come in the front, I'll come there. Please don't make me do that. You'll be doing all the activities also because you have to do it. Otherwise, there's no point participating in this workshop. Okay? So that is the deal which we are going to make. And let me start by introduction. My introduction, I'm Nisha. I'm working with EY for the past 5 years as senior business analyst. I lead a small team. I have 13 plus years of experience in the industry, that is as business analyst. I started as a programmer, as most of the folks do, and then somehow I moved into the, I don't know how, I moved into the business analysis world. So that is a little bit of me. Now, let me start with a question. How many of you do or ask yourself on the 1st of January, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? How many of you make New Year resolutions? Hands up, please. I need answers. Without that, I'm not going to move forward. 1, 2, 3. That's all. Only 3. No one is going to make resolutions. 3. Surprised. Okay, fine. So, people do this, okay? Okay, now if you're not doing this, as you get into the career world, definitely you'll be doing this because there will be things which you want to improve. So, every year we'll be doing this. Every new year on the, on 1st of Jan or on the first month, we say like, okay, I'm going to start exercising, I'm going to start reading, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to read books, I'm going to study this language. These things we'll be doing. Everyone will do. Even I am doing this. We'll do this. Yeah, we are humans. Okay. So, but sometimes what we do is like we try to accept this. We try to work along with the resolution we have taken, at least to 3 months or 2 months. But after that, we leave it. And again, the next year we do the same thing. Or after the next month beginning, we do the same thing. So that is how human minds are, that is how human mentality is. So in that case, with respect to that, what we can do is, we need to bring ourselves again back to the same position where we started. Without that, nothing is going to change. So even though I'm going to take this is a concept I'm going to take for you. The ultimate person who can help you is yourself. There's nothing in this world which will help you to reach to the next level. It is you, it is only you. But there are concepts, there are frameworks, there are practices which will guide you, which will help you. So that is the thing, that is the primary thing which you have to understand. Even though you will be paying so much of thousands of money to various for learning courses, for going to coaches, for going to educators, mentors, cohorts, various cohorts. But end of the day, it is always you. Without your effort, without your mindset change, nothing is going to transform. Okay. With that, let's move to the Wheel of Life. So Wheel of Life is a self-assessment tool, okay? It's a powerful tool which has been created by Dr. Paul in 1960s, 70s. And it is a powerful tool for self-assessment where you are going to assess your various areas of life. In life, there are various areas. We are not just students. We are not just, female. We are not just man. We are just not just men. There are various areas in life which you are part of. So we are going to self-assess each area of life to understand the balance, whether you are in balance or not. That is the tool. This tool will help you in that. This tool will help you to increase your quality of life. It's a very simple tool. It's not a complicated one. Once you get a hang of it, you will be able to do it yourself. Only thing is, you need to be ready to spend some time for it. That is all. The beauty is, it is very simple. Anyone can do it. You don't need, highly sophisticated coaches or mentors. But if they are there, they'll be able to guide you. That is the only difference. But if you can spend some time to do this, it is going to be helpful and it is going to be a life changer. So if I'm just taking this PPT, you can see this wheel of life is nothing. Yeah, please. No, anything. If they get a hang of it, it will be helpful. That's it. Maybe 8 max. Yeah. So the name Wheel of Life itself tells you that it is wheel. That means it is going to be a circle. Life is a circle always, and that is how the terminology was coined. So I'll continue, or I should wait for people to join.
Like 5 minutes so that they could also. And you can ask people.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So I'll just start again. A couple of people have joined. So Wheel of Life is a self-assessment tool. It's a very simple, powerful self-assessment tool where you can assess your various areas of your life. Your life consists of various areas. It's not only 1 or 2 or 3 areas. It's going to be multiple areas. So you are going to self-assess yourself so that you will understand which area of your life would require improvement. So that this tool is going to help you with that. And with that, you will be able to identify areas of improvement, and you can decide how to improve that area, or you can set goals to improve your area. So that is what you're going to do. It's going to be very simple. Only thing is, you will have to ask yourself questions. You'll have to spend some time. You have to reflect. All these activities can only be done by you, not me. I can only guide you. I am a guide here. I'm going to guide you through that process. Okay. So next slide. Okay, so the purpose, as I mentioned, is again self-reflection. You're going to self-reflect. You're going to think about yourself. You are going to think what you do, what are your areas, what needs improvement. So that is self-reflection. Okay, and then based on that, you have to set your goals. That is, if you think that you need to achieve this, you need to improve something, or you need to change something. So what do? You have to set your goal. And that this tool is going to help in goal setting. And that is where the possibility board is going to come in, where I'm going to take you through that. Then you have the wellness assessment. So with this tool, you will be able to understand whether you are in balance in your life, or your life is in a very harmonized state. That is, your life is in a very good and optimized and balanced state in all areas. Previous slide. Previous slide. So you can see each person, okay, let me take my example. My life would be different from each one of you. Everyone's life will be different from each one of you. Let me take another example, like not example, as a role. I'm an adult. You are actually going to get into the career world. You might be you are actually still in the educational, most of you, I guess most of you are in the education area. Most of you are in the, most of your students. So your areas or your priorities in life will be different and mine will be different. So wheel of life is applicable for everyone. You can do it at any stage of your life. Only thing is your areas will change. So in this example, this is going to help you. In this example, what I'm going to do is, I've taken the sample of a student who is studying in BTech. Okay, so these will be his areas. This is a generalist one. If you want to change something in your area, you can do that during the activity. But this is a general one. So these are the areas in your life which you will be looking at. So you can look at family. So family, everyone will be having, that is a priority. Then academics, that is there because you're studying, so that is required. Then meaningful relationships, friends, then cousins. Then apart from that, you will be having so many colleagues also. So these are meaningful relationships, not colleagues, your peers. So these are meaningful relationships. So these are the kind of areas which you will be focusing at during this workshop, where you will have to self-reflect and where you will have to do this. This you will understand when you start doing the activity. Next slide. Okay, so how do you start doing this activity? Is something like, you are going to ask yourself, like the questions like, what are your roles in your life? For example, as I said, let me take my example. What I will say, I'm a daughter. Okay, I'm a daughter to my parents. I'm a daughter-in-law. I'm married, so I'm a daughter-in-law. Then I'm a wife to my husband. I work, so I have a boss. So that means I'm reporting to a person. I have people reporting to me, so that means I am a boss also. So that is also a role. Similarly, I live in a flat, so that's a community. So I'm part of a community also. So these are the kind of roles which I play. Similarly, each of you will be playing different roles in your life. Each one might have more than this. Each one might have less than this also, less than these roles also. So from these areas, you need to self-reflect. You need to think from that perspective to identify your goals, identify your areas of improvement. So this is one question which will help you during the process how to do the activity. Similarly, the other question, important areas in your life. So what are the important areas in your life? Like, for me, if you ask me, let me take an example of myself. For me, my areas are family, okay? I have family and that is very important to me. So I will take my important area is family. Then another one is career. I love working. So another important area is career. Then I love the company of my friends. So my another important area is spending meaningful time with my friends. So friends is an important thing. So that is how you identify the important areas of life. So this is something which you have, each person's thing will be different. This question will help you to identify the important areas. Only basis of these questions you will be able to fill the wheel of life which I have shown. Okay, and then based on these two questions, that is roles we have identified, then important areas of life we have identified, then you have to ask yourself, what are the current priorities of your life? These are the important areas, but certain times you would require certain priorities. അതായത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചില സമയത്ത് priorities മാറും. tell me when time is out, okay, for the next panel. 3. So our priorities, we have to understand the priorities and basis of which you will be noting that down. So that also is a key point for building the wheel of life. So I'm just taking you through the activities, but we'll do this again. Next slide. Now, so these are the questions which you ask, and this is how you do it. So the steps for the wheel of life activities, you are going to assess yourself by understanding your priorities, your roles, your where do you stand, all these things you will be assessing, you will be reflecting over it, and then you will be planning how to improve or how to do it. This is going to be a bit more lengthier process. So if we cannot complete this in this session, I'm sure we'll not be able to complete it. You can do it at your own pace. When you leave, or when you're at home or with your friends. You can do it with friends also. That will be the most ideal way of doing it. But if you want to do it alone also, that is okay. Next. So once the wheel of life once you've identified the wheel of life, that is whether you are in balance or not, then based on that you will be setting goals. You will have to set goals based on which you will understand what steps needs to be taken. So that is what is being mentioned here. Identify the priorities, then create smart goals. Always, you would have heard of SMART goals. So you will have to create, that is, goals should be small, then it should be measurable, then it is actionable. That is, you should be able to take action, then it should be reliable. I guess it is reliable, and then it is traceable also. You should be able to trace it. That is a SMART. That is a scientific word again, which you would be hearing. So goals, you will have to set specific goals. That is the meaning of it. Then you will have to take action. So this is how you will be taking it. This is very simple. For every activity, this is going to be like this. And after this, you will get into the possibility board. Possibility board is something like you have understood the wheel of life. You know the rating of each of your areas. And then now you're going to take steps. You're going to set goals and you're going to set actions. So that is how you do it. Again, it is again based on wheel of life. Every step is being done. It is based on your self-reflection. It is based on your thinking process. It is based on how well you want to transform. That's it. Now we are going to start the activity. Okay. So from your, I need a volunteer. I'm going to start with one volunteer. One volunteer, please. Or I'll call out something. A person who is going, who are the people who is wearing black shirts? Shirt or t-shirts or anything. Black shirt. People, please. Otherwise, I will have to come near you. Just because I don't know the name, I can call out people. I can. Okay, I'll come. What are your priorities in your life?
My current priority is my business. Okay.
No, let's not go into the priorities.
Okay.
Your roles. What are your roles? Like I said, like I am an adult person. So I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a daughter-in-law. I work in a company, so I have a boss, so I report. So like that.
I'm a son.
Yeah.
I'm a brother to my sister and brother. I'm a CEO to my company.
Yes.
I'm also a design engineer. I'm a freelance design engineer separate from my company itself.
Okay. Okay. So these are the areas that you're
Yeah.
telling. Okay. Okay. Now, do you have anything else, like apart from these roles? Are you a part of a community?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're a part of a community
Yeah.
also. Fine. So these are your roles you're going to play. Are you happy, or are there any roles which you are not happy about, or are there any roles which you want to improve?
Yes, ma'am.
Which are those? No, you can keep it yourself if it is very
Okay.
private, or you can say just for the helping the people.
Ma'am, it's a bit private.
Okay, fine. So any roles which you want to improve, which you want to which you want to change, that also will be part of this role.
Okay.
Okay. Now coming to the other question, anyone, any other volunteers? White t-shirt ladies. White t-shirt ladies. There's no hiding.
So I'm a daughter.
Yes.
I'm a friend.
Yes.
Part of a community. I'm a student. Uh,
You're only a daughter.
I'm a sister too. I have a sister. Cousin. That's it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Then next, if you don't get up, I'm going to call out. Check shirt. Ha, I've got.
I'm I'm a daughter. I'm a sister to my brother. I'm a student, engineering student. Part of a community, Tinkerhub. That's all.
Anyone doesn't get up, I'm going to call out. Yeah, please.
I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an employee, I'm a colleague, I'm a roommate. That's it.
Thank you so much. Please give a round of applause to all the ones who volunteered. Okay, so this is how you identify the roles that you are playing in your life. This is not a one single role you are playing. There are multiple roles in your life which you are playing. And this will change across your life. It is like every stage your life, your roles will play, your roles will add on. It is not going to decrease, I guess. It is going to add on. That is my experience. Now, the question that I asked, your name please? Gopi Krishnan. So you can ask yourself, that might be very private, so that is why I did not ask to everyone. You can check with yourself whether are there any roles in your life where you want to improve, where you want to change, where you want to transform. You're playing all these roles, you want to change anything, you want to change any relationships, you want to improve on any areas in these roles, whether you want to look at the role in a different way. So these questions you have to ask yourself. അതായത് എനിക്ക് ഈ റോൾ ഞാൻ നന്നായി ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കുക. ഈ റോള് ഞാൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആം ഐ ഡൂയിങ് ജസ്റ്റിസ് ടു ദ റോൾ? ആ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നിങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു വിൽ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് വേർ യു സ്റ്റാൻഡ്. Okay, so this is about the role. Now coming to the next question, go to that previous one. I've covered that. Okay, important areas of life. Okay, so the important areas of life example. Okay, with my life I said it is family, it is career, it is friends. Okay, so what are the important areas in your life? Again, I'm going to call out for volunteers if I don't get volunteers. Dotted shirt. Name please.
Hi, my name is Maria. So,
What are the important areas of your life? Family, friends, I mentioned
yeah. So, my important areas of life is family, friends, my colleagues. I mean, yeah, work area, community. Yeah, and that's it.
Thank you so much. More volunteers. Striped shirt. Striped shirt. There are no striped shirts. Huh? There's no. Here. Yeah. Name please.
My name is Naha Fatima. For me, important areas is like family, friends, my college. Then I'm a part of a community, IEEE.
Okay, important areas.
Yeah. Then that's all.
Thank you so much. That's your important area. More. Any number? Any colors you want to call out? Red color. Red. Ah. That's red. What are the important areas?
Family. Friends.
It's your important area you're telling, not mine. You decide and tell. Only two.
Well,
Only two. Okay. One more volunteer I need, and then I'm going to move forward. Anyone volunteer, or I'll have to call out? Yeah.
I guess family, friends, my career, my college life, people I meet late in the future. These are all pretty much important areas of my life. Yeah. So,
Thank you. Thank you. So the important areas of your life will determine your areas where you need to focus on your with respect to your role as well as your life. That is how you decide. So you have decided, you have understood your role. Now you have understood your important areas of your life. Okay. So and then you have to look at in a way like, you know, are there any areas you would like to focus? You have understood the important areas on your life. So in those areas, do you want to focus anything in those areas, or is everything fine in those areas? Is everything fine in those areas? And one more thing, like, you know, academics or education, since your students is also part of your area, that is something I did not hear from any one of you. I just want to call out that. So that is something which needs to be part of Wheel of Life also. Okay. So in these areas, in the important areas which you have found, are there, is everything fine? Is everything fine? So you know there are things which is off balance. You know that things are not fine. So you have understood that yourself. So those are the areas which you know. Okay. Now coming to the next one. At each stage in your life, okay, ഇപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ നിൽക്കുന്ന സ്റ്റേജ് ആണെങ്കിലും നിങ്ങൾ നിൽക്കുന്ന സ്റ്റേജ് ആണെങ്കിലും നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രയോറിറ്റീസ് ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. എവ്രി വൺസ് പ്രയോറിറ്റി വിൽ ബി ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്. മൈ പ്രയോറിറ്റീസ് ആർ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്. ഈച്ച് വൺ ഓഫ് യോഴ്സ് പ്രയോറിറ്റീസ് ആർ ഗോയിങ് ടു ബി ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്. ഇറ്റ് മൈറ്റ് ബി ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്. ചിലപ്പോൾ സെയിം ആവാം, ചിലപ്പോൾ ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആവാം. ആൻഡ് മേ ബി ആഫ്റ്റർ എ ഇയർ ഈ സെയിം പ്രയോറിറ്റി ആവണമെന്നില്ല. ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ചേഞ്ച്. ഓക്കെ. സോ വാട്ട് ആർ ദി കറൻറ്റ് പ്രയോറിറ്റീസ് ഇൻ യുവർ ലൈഫ്? ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു കോൾ ഔട്ട്. Grey shirt? Oh, grey alla adu. Grey shirt? We don't have any grey shirts here. Jeans shirt. Ha.
Hi everyone. I'm a software engineer. For me, currently I am prioritizing my career.
Okay. Only one priority is there.
I think now it's only.
I need one more volunteer. I need 3 volunteers. So I'll be calling out one by one if you guys do not come up. No questions, nothing? You don't want to come?
Okay. My current priorities may be like, of course, my career, and then my mental health maybe, and also like financial stability also. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I need 2 more people. Guys, this is a safe space. I'm the only one, I guess, outside, or I'm also part of the community. I need 2 more people. People with short hair. Ladies, do we have any short hair here? We already spoke. Do we have anyone else? Short hair? I'm going to find out. Come on. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So my current priority will be studies. I'm a student, so that will be my priority.
I need one more volunteer. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Varsha, and my current priorities are mainly my career and my family. Yeah, and my surrounding peoples, the closely one that I, and of course the mental stability and mental health and financial stability.
Thank you all. Please give a round of applause to all the volunteers. Okay. So now we have understood your current priorities, okay? So each one is having different priorities. That is how the life is going to be. Even the twins, right, of the same mother will have different priorities. That is how it is. Now, how do these priorities align with your values and long-term goals is something you have to check yourself. Okay, you have set your priorities, you know these are your current priorities. So is this aligning with your long-term goal? Like you will be having a long-term goal, like you know എനിക്കിപ്പോൾ ഒരു കമ്പനി തുടങ്ങണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എനിക്കൊരു ജോലി വേണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ I want to build a house, അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറേ long-term goals നമുക്കുണ്ടാവും. ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ കറണ്ട് പ്രയോറിറ്റി നിങ്ങൾക്കത് ഏതെങ്കിലും രീതിയിൽ അലൈൻ ആവുന്നുണ്ടോ, or do you want to align it? Our question you ask yourself. That is something which you have to ask yourself, that no one will be able to help you, only you can do it yourself. And then are there any priorities? I think ningal ipo parna priorities, do you want to reprioritize it? Do you want to reassess it? Do you want to relook it in a different way? Someone told mental health, it is her priority. Someone told financial stability, it is her priority, or it is his priority. So ഇതല്ലാതെ ഇപ്പോൾ ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്യണം, ഞാൻ പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്യാത്ത കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഒന്നും കൂടെ പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്യണോ, ഓർ ഇത് ഞാൻ ഡീപ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് വേറെ ഒന്ന് പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്യണോ. സോ ദിസ് ഇസ് സംതിങ് വിച്ച് യു ഹാവ് ടു ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് യുവർ സെൽഫ്. Take time to do this, but this questions, these are the questions which will help you to arrive at a proper wheel of life. Till this point, are we good? എനർജി ഇല്ലല്ലോ കഴിച്ചിട്ടൊന്നും. ഇത് എന്തുവാ, നല്ല ഫുഡായിരുന്നില്ലേ, നല്ല ഫുഡായിരുന്നില്ലേ, അപ്പോൾ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ശബ്ദമൊക്കെ വേണം, ഇത് മതിയാവൂല. Come on. I need voice, I need amplified voice. Yes. Okay. So ഇത്രയും നമ്മൾ ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഇനി ചെയ്യാൻ പോവാണ്. You are going to do it yourself. Okay. Do it yourself. We'll start with doing yourself. You have to do it. You have got, at least some of you have got this right, or has everyone got this? എല്ലാവർക്കും കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, ലെറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ഡൂയിങ് ദ വീൽ ഓഫ് ലൈഫ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്ലൈഡ് ഒന്ന് എടുക്കൂ, ഇത്. ഓക്കെ, സോ യൂഷ്വലി ഹൗ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ബീങ് ഡൺ ഇസ്, യു വിൽ ബി ഡ്രോയിങ് എ സർക്കിൾ ആൻഡ് യു വിൽ ബി ഐഡൻറ്റിഫൈങ് യുവർ ലൈഫ് ഏരിയാസ്. ഓക്കെ, മാക്സിമം 10 ആൻഡ് മിനിമം ഓഫ് 8 അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 7 എങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടാവും. മോസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ കേസസ് നമുക്ക് ദർ വിൽ ബി 7. ചില റെയർ കേസസിലൊക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും 6 ഉണ്ടാവുക, 7 ആൻഡ് മാക്സിമം 10. വൈ മാക്സിമം 10 ഇസ് ബിക്കോസ് അത് എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു കാൺ ബാലൻസ്, യു കാൺ ഡു സോ മെനി തിങ്സ് ഇൻ യുവർ ലൈഫ്, മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ തിങ്സ്. ഓൺലി യു ക്യാൻ ഡു ഫ്യൂ തിങ്സ്, യു ക്യാൻ പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസ് ഫ്യൂ തിങ്സ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് മാക്സിമം 10 എന്ന് പറയണത്. സോ ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ വരയ്ക്കും, നമ്മുടെ ഏരിയാസ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചിട്ട് യു വിൽ ബി ഡ്രോയിങ് ദിസ് ഇൻ എ സർക്കിൾ ആൻഡ് യു വിൽ ബി നോട്ടിങ് ഡൗൺ യുവർ ഏരിയാസ് ലൈക്ക് ദിസ്, ലൈക്ക് അക്കാഡമിക്സ്, ഫാമിലി, ജോബ്, മണി, സർവീസ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ, സ്പിരിച്വാലിറ്റി, personal growth, whatever it is, social play, health, meaningful relationships. Okay, now I'm just starting with an example. So you can draw it if you have the space to draw it, or at least you can note down your areas. I want you to do it starting now, because at least this will help you to do it yourself. സർക്കിൾ വരയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റിയില്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലും യു ക്യാൻ അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് നോട്ട് ഡൗൺ ദി ഏരിയാസ്. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Please do not hesitate. അല്ല, സി യുവർ ലൈഫ് ഏരിയാസ് നമ്മൾ എഴുതുവാണ്. ആക്ച്വലി യു ഡു ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ എ സർക്കിൾ. നമ്മളൊരു സർക്കിൾ വരച്ചിട്ട് അതിലിങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ഓരോ ഏരിയ അതിൽ മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുവാണ് ചെയ്യുക. പക്ഷേ ഇഫ് യു ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ദ സ്പേസസ്, ദിസ് ഇസ് എ സ്മോളർ വൺ, ഓർ യു ക്യാൻ ഡ്രോ ഇറ്റ് ഹിയർ, ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ബിഗ് ഇനഫ്. ഇങ്ങനെ വരച്ചിട്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഏരിയാസ് പറയാം. ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇപ്പോൾ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ, ഫാമിലി, ഫ്രണ്ട്സ്, നിങ്ങളുടെയാണ് എഴുതേണ്ടത്. ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് യുവേഴ്സ്. ഞാനവിടെ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇട്ടതാണ്, ഇവിടെ ഞാൻ എക്സാമ്പിളാണ് ഇട്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. അതായത് ഞാനൊരു ജനറിക് ഒരു സ്റ്റുഡൻറ്റിൻ്റെ എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവും എന്ന് കാണിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഞാൻ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇട്ടതാണ്. യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡു ഇറ്റ് യുവർ സെൽഫ്. പെർഫെക്റ്റ് ഒന്നും യു ക്യാൻ ഡു ഇറ്റ്. നോ അങ്ങനെയല്ല. വിൽ ഡു ദാറ്റ്. ആ പ്രയോറിറ്റൈസേഷൻ വീണ്ടും നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. Are we doing it? Or പിന്നെ ചെയ്യുന്ന? ഇല്ല, മാക്സിമം 10 ആണ്. മോസ്റ്റ്ലി 6 to 7 എല്ലാവർക്കും വരും യൂഷ്വലി. Completed? Okay, so we'll go to the next step. Let's take one area. Okay, in your circle you can take any of your areas. I'm taking academics. Okay, I'm taking academics. You can take any of your areas, whichever you want. Now, ask yourself, where does this area stands for you? Like 10 being the best, 1 being the lowest. Where do you stand? Give a rating of your area. Take one area or area എടുത്തിട്ട് just think yourself, where does that area stands? Is the best, that is 10, or is it some number, or is it the least? So ideally 10 is the best, 1 is the least one, 1 to 4 is something which you need to look at, 5 to 7 is okay, and more than that is you are in a better position. ഇത് പേപ്പർ നോക്കിയിട്ട് എഴുതാൻ പറ്റില്ല, അവനവൻ്റെ സാധനമാണ്. നമ്മുടെ ഏരിയ, അതായത് ഇപ്പം എവിടെ നിൽക്കുന്നു. ഇപ്പം ഞാനിപ്പോൾ അക്കാഡമിക്സ് എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആ അക്കാഡമിക്സിൽ ഞാൻ എവിടെ നിൽക്കുന്നു. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ പറയുവാണ് ഞാൻ 7 ആണ്, അതായത് ഞാൻ ഓക്കെ, അതെ ഉണ്ട്, അതെ. ഇപ്പോൾ 10 ആണെങ്കിൽ ബെസ്റ്റാണ്, ബാക്കി എല്ലാം യു നീഡ് ടു ബി ബെറ്റർ. ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടോ? Completed? Have we completed? ഒരു ഏരിയ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്തോ? ഓക്കെ, സി ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ അക്കാഡമിക്സ് എടുത്തു. ഈ അക്കാഡമിക്സിൽ ഞാനൊരു റേറ്റിംഗ് ഇട്ടു. ലെറ്റ്സ് സേ ഐ ആം പുട്ടിങ് 7. എൻ്റെ ഡിസൈഡ്, അതായത് എനിക്ക് എവിടെ എത്തണം എന്നുള്ളതും കൂടെ നിങ്ങൾ അവിടെ മാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് വെക്കുക. ലൈക്ക് ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ബി 10 ഓർ ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ബി 9, അതും കൂടെ ഡിസൈഡും കൂടെ മാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് വെക്കുക. ലൈക്ക് ഐ ആം 7 നൗ, ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ബി 9. വേർ ഡു വി സ്റ്റാൻഡ് എന്നുള്ളത് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വേർ ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ബി. നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഏരിയ ഇപ്പോൾ എടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ഇതേപോലെ നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാ ഏരിയാസിനും നിങ്ങളിത് ചെയ്യണം. എവറി ഏരിയ യു വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു ഡു ഇറ്റ്. ഐ എം ടേക്കിംഗ് ഓൺലി വൺ ഏരിയ ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ് ദ ടൈം കൺസ്ട്രെയിൻറ്റ്. Got it? Anyone, do we have any questions? Please, questions ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കുക, because it will be really helpful for you. Have we completed both these activities? This area, have we completed? Yes. Okay. So ഇത് നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ സ്പോക്സും, അതായത് ഒരു വീടിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ സ്പോക്സും നമ്മൾ എന്തൊക്കെ എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ ആ ഏരിയയിലെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഈ ആക്ടിവിറ്റി ചെയ്യും. ലൈക്ക് where do we stand, what is our desired rating, or what is the point where we want to reach. അത് നിങ്ങൾ തന്നെ സെൽഫ് അസസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. അത് ചെയ്താൽ തന്നെ യു വിൽ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്. അതായത് ആ റേറ്റിംഗ് നിങ്ങളിപ്പോൾ സർക്കിളിൽ തന്നെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു വിൽ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് വെദർ ദിസ് സർക്കിൾ ഇസ് ഇൻ ബാലൻസ് ഓർ നോട്ട്. അതായത് നിങ്ങളുടെ ലൈഫ് ബാലൻസ് ആണോ ഇല്ലയോ എന്നുള്ളത് ഈ നമ്പേഴ്സ് നോക്കിയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. ലൈക്ക് ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു പുട്ട് ഹിയർ, ഇവിടെ ഞാൻ 5 ഇടുവാണ്, ഇവിടെ ഞാൻ 4 ഇടുവാണ്, ഇവിടെ 2 ഇടുവാണ്. സോ ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് മൈ ലൈഫ് ഇസ് ഇൻ ബാലൻസ്. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഏകദേശം ഒരു ബാലൻസ് വന്നാൽ മാത്രമേ യു വിൽ ഹാവ് എ ഗുഡ് ക്വാളിറ്റി ഓഫ് ലൈഫ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ഹാപ്പിയർ വേർഷൻ ആവുള്ളൂ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബെസ്റ്റ് വേർഷൻ നിങ്ങൾ ആവുള്ളൂ. യുവർ ലൈഫ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഇൻ ബാലൻസ് ഓൺലി വെൻ will be in balance only when you can give appropriate attention to every area of your life and you can improve yourself. Can you go to the last, that is possibility board. Possibility board എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് സാധനത്തിലുണ്ട് താഴെ. Okay, now we have taken one example. Have we completed? കാരണം ഞാൻ നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പിലേക്ക് പോവാണ്. സോ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു പോർഷൻ എടുത്തു, ഒരു പോർഷൻ എടുത്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ വാട്ട് ഡിഡ് വി ഡു നമ്മളൊരു ഡിസൈഡ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, വേർ ഡു വി സ്റ്റാൻഡ് എന്നുള്ളത് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. സോ the desired one, okay, let's take, I've taken career. I've told you it's 7, okay, sorry, but career, okay, career I'm putting 7, okay, so that is my rating. അതായത് എൻ്റെ പോലത്തെ കറണ്ട് ഞാൻ നിൽക്കുന്നത് 7 ആണ്. പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ ഇതിനെ എങ്ങനെ ഇമ്പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യണം? ബിക്കോസ് ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ഇമ്പ്രൂവ്, ഐ വോണ്ട് 9, ബിക്കോസ് എൻ്റെ ഡിസൈഡ് റേറ്റിംഗ് 9 ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ എങ്ങനെ ഇമ്പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യണം? അതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ വി ആർ ക്രിയേറ്റിംഗ് എ പോസിബിലിറ്റി ബോർഡ് വെയർ വിൽ ക്രിയേറ്റ് എ ഗോൾ ആൻഡ് ആൻ ആക്ഷൻസ് ഫോർ ദിസ്. താഴെ വരും. We can reduce the size a bit more. Yeah. So let's say career. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്റ്റുഡൻറ്റിന് എനിക്ക് കരിയർ ഞാൻ ഫോക്കസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ട് ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഒരാൾക്ക് ഫൈൻഡ് ഇൻറ്റേൺഷിപ്പ് ഓർ സൈഡ് ഹസൽ, അതായത് എൻ്റെ ഗോൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, അതായത് ഞാനിപ്പോൾ നിൽക്കുന്നത് 5 നിൽക്കുന്നതെന്നിരിക്കട്ടെ. അപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ഗോൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഹൗ വിൽ ഐ ഇംപ്രൂവ്? ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ഗെറ്റ് എ സൈഡ് ഹസൽ ഓർ എൻ ഇൻറ്റേൺഷിപ്പ്. അതാണ് എൻ്റെ ഗോൾ. അപ്പോൾ അത് ഗോൾ ഇട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദ ആക്ഷൻസ്, മൈക്രോ ആക്ഷൻസ് വിച്ച് യു വിൽ ഡു? ലൈക്ക് I'll be networking, I'll be searching. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ആക്ഷൻസ് എന്തൊക്കെ എടുക്കും എന്നുള്ളതും കൂടെ എഴുതി വെക്കാം. സോ യു വിൽ നോ ഹൗ യു ക്യാൻ റീച്ച് ദർ. ഇറ്റ്സ് എ റോഡ് മാപ്പ് ഫോർ യു. ഇപ്പോൾ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഞാൻ എടുക്കണത്, ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയാം, ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് മേ നോട്ട് ബി വെരി ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ഫോർ യു. ഇപ്പോൾ കരിയർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് ഞാൻ പറയണം ഫൈൻഡ് ഇൻറ്റേൺഷിപ്പ് സൈഡ് ഹസൽ. ഇൻ എ ഇയർ ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ഗെയിൻ ഇൻറ്റേൺഷിപ്പ് ആൻഡ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ എനിക്കൊരു സൈഡ് ജോബ്, ഫ്രീലാൻസർ ജോബ് കിട്ടണം. അതാണ് എൻ്റെ ഗോൾ. സോ ഹൗ വിൽ ഐ അച്ചീവ് ഇറ്റ്? ദാറ്റ്സ് എൻ ആക്ഷൻ ദാറ്റ് ഐ നീഡ് ടു ടേക്ക്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ഐ വോണ്ട് യു ടു ഡു ദിസ്. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ എടുത്ത ഒരു ഏരിയയുടെ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒന്ന് ചെയ്യണം. ഇപ്പോൾ ഏതാ ഏരിയ എടുത്തത് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു കറണ്ട് റേറ്റിംഗ്, ഡിസൈഡ് റേറ്റിംഗ്. ഓക്കെ, ഹൗ വിൽ യു റീച്ച് ദ ഡിസൈഡ് റേറ്റിംഗ്? ദ ആക്ഷൻസ്. ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ വീണ്ടും ഒരു 4 വോളണ്ടിയേഴ്സിനെ വിളിക്കും. സോ പ്ലീസ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഇറ്റ്. ഇതും കൂടെ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് റാപ്പപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. ഒരു 2 വോളണ്ടിയേഴ്സിനെ കൂടെ വിളിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ റാപ്പപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇഫ് ദി ഡു ദിസ് ദേ കൻ ഡു ഇറ്റ് അലോൺ. പിന്നെ ഗൈഡൻസിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യമൊന്നും വരില്ല. Completed? Have we completed? I'll give you 2 more minutes. I think it is going to, will have to wrap it up. I'll give you 2 more minutes and then I need 1 or 2 volunteers and then we'll wrap the session. I need 2 volunteers who have completed. Anyone? Or should I call out? Green shirt ladies. Green shirt ladies. Please. ഒരു ഏരിയ ആ ഏരിയയിൽ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഗോൾ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തതെന്നുള്ളത് ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
How to set a goal?
Yeah, what area you selected?
Okay.
Okay, that in that chart, and what is your current rating, your desired rating, and how did you set the goal? അത് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി first.
So suppose I put the goal as my studies. So as my studies, for studies, what do? We basically improve it by studying, and then we try improving our marks as well. So we need better schedule of how we study each subjects. So that's how I tried excelling in that, and then comes career. Did you give rating in the sense like?
What is your rating like? Your current rating, is it good? That is 1 to 10. Did you do that?
Yeah, it is pretty well. I'll give it an 8.5. 8.5.
Your desired?
My?
Your decide. Where do you want to reach? You want to 9 or 10?
I would like to. I would like to improve my studies a bit more.
Like, where do you want to reach?
Where I want to reach.
Yes. Is it 10 or is it 9? What is it?
9, maybe. Yeah, that's it.
It's not maybe, it is your.
Yeah, 9. 9. Okay, anything else? Like any other? I don't know about the career right now because I'm studying. Yeah, so.
That is fine.
there's-
One area is fine.
Yeah.
Rest of things you can.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. One more. I need one more. Check shirt, ladies or men. Check shirt, please. This is the final call. Check shirt.
I wanted to learn a new skill. I have been procrastinating about it, so I wanted to continue with it.
What area have you selected? Education.
Yes.
Okay, what is your rating?
6,
Which desired rating you want to reach?
8.
8. So what will be your goal?
Sorry.
What goal you want? You want to learn a new skill?
Yes.
And what are the actions you're going to take?
Like maybe set a schedule, do it systematically.
Maybe you tell me.
Do it systematically.
Okay. That is only.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we'll have to wrap up this session. It's almost time. Last slide. I'm going to do. It is almost time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, for your patience, and for being with me. I would like to thank the Tinkerhub community and Meher for inviting me here and for giving me the space to help me share my knowledge. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. It was a really nice session.
So this is something which you please keep this in your mind. These are famous quotes. Please keep this in your mind whenever you go through.
So now I invite Arundhati to give Nisha a small token of her appreciation. So thank you so much for that engaging session. We all had a lot of fun.
It was not fun.
fine.
The fact that there are not enough women leaders who are facilitating an equal ground for you to work. So what happens is, in any of these organizations within Kerala also, if you look at it, look at Technopark, based in Trivandrum, the first IT park in Kerala, right, or in the south of India. There are several companies there. I forgot the number of companies now that are there in Technopark. Do you know how many women CEOs are there across all those companies? There are some 8 or 9 women CEOs so far. In all these years, it started in the early 90s, and in all these years, there are only 5 or 7 women-led organizations in Technopark. Similarly, if you look at the Kerala government, you look at Startup Mission, how many women leaders are making the decisions? And there are lots of structural problems that we saw earlier in the earlier discussions that lead to the absence of women leaders. But the problem is often you are given opportunities by somebody only so that you reach a certain point, middle manager or entry level. But beyond that, you will be stepping on the privileged gender toes. So that's not a very welcome phenomenon. We see this through a few interactions today. We are at what is the Women Makers celebration, right? Do you think it's something to be celebrated? Is a celebration a great thing done? You folks have done Tinkerhack, right? You're all selected from that. So do you think it's worthy of celebration? Yes? Right. So again, celebration has a slightly paternalistic tone to it. I'll come to how words have a lot of meaning than we usually attribute. Celebration is like, dance this kind of conversation is very common when we grow up, right? These kinds of, why don't you do that? But the fact that if you don't want to do that, your autonomy, your agency is not often respected. So this often leads to the fact that we are used to being celebrated if we do little achievements, but we don't ask for it as a right. It is our right. We are half the population in the world. We should be doing the same amount of work that anybody else is doing, whether it's race, caste, gender, whatever it is, equally all of us should have a say. But we often don't ask for that space. And what do spaces like these? So we have a Women Maker celebration, we have Women Tech Summit. These are all great because you get to hear from people who have, or women who have been successful in this space, right? So when you look at role models, you get to learn. But you don't limit yourself to that is what I am saying, because you're being put into a lane where you can make, but stay in your lane. Don't get into the spaces that are the more popular spaces. So this is the reason why you don't find many women in general hackathons or general conferences where there are all kinds of people, men, women, all kinds of people. So you see the difference? If you're doing good at tech, people will tell you, oh, you're really good at tech for a girl. Oh, you're really good at driving for a girl. Not that you're really good at tech. So you are in that lane and you're getting typecast. So it's important that after you get these opportunities like these kinds of spaces, you move into spaces that are common. Don't stop yourself from participating in common hackathons. I know it's not easy. There are parents' pressures, there are societal pressures, there are safety issues, many things that you're thinking about. But use the opportunities that are made available to become part of the common activities, common making spaces. Otherwise, this is the realistic picture of where the world is. You might think that this is a great celebration of women makers, but in the tech universe, we're a small speck. You understand a small speck, right? Really not making a difference. You are making a difference in this room, in this lane, but you're not making a difference in the larger picture. We demonstrate that through examples, studies, stats, and everything today, and that is the subject or topic that I'm addressing today, how women makers are a small representation and what consequences it can have on people. I'm Nidhi Sudhan. I am co-founder of Citizen Digital Foundation based in Trivandrum. We advocate information literacy, which is using technology safely and responsible tech development. How to make sure tech is inclusive, safe, values privacy, does not manipulate people, does not exploit or discriminate. These are the works that we advocate to citizens, business and government. That is our organization. I've already introduced. We are about 3 years old, and we have been recognized by a few organizations internationally, Center for Humane Technology and All Tech is Human. Has anybody seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma? Yeah. All right. So Center for Humane Technology team are the ones that are behind the documentary, and they're the ones who started advocating responsible technology. They are Silicon Valley engineers, they're engineers who worked with Google, Apple, all of that before, and they've seen how the dangers of design or the flaws of design are leading to large-scale problems across the world. We know some of the problems that misapplication of AI in social media has done. AI's first application was in social media at a large scale. You know that, right? In what form, can some engineer tell me? How is AI used in social media? The recommendation engines, that's AI, right? How do they recommend? They take a lot of our data in terms of personal, demographic, behavioral, and then they recommend content to us. Why do they recommend content to us? Go on, speak up. Thank you. So that we continuously keep on engaging with their platforms. And why do they want us to continuously engage with their platforms? Yeah, better monetization, better revenue. Marketing is not a bad thing. Persuading people to buy a product is not a bad thing, because you may or may not need it. I think you might do better with a mic, because there are some people in the back who are speaking very softly. So I want to sell this mic to you, so I'll say that why don't you use this mic? You might need it. It will help get your voice to more people. I'm selling the mic to you. That is persuasion. But coercion, getting into the space where I know too much about you. I know that the last search that you did was on not having voice, or what are the uses of mic. So I'm using your data without your permission to coerce you or forcefully make you buy things that you did not intend to buy, and it's of no value to you. Anybody who uses Instagram would know how many things you have bought on Instagram, although you did not use it. So that's the model. So what happens is, although the platform was originally designed for social communications, to bring people together, to entertain you, the incentive is now to keep you engaged purely for the sake of advertising. It does not work in the user's interest, it works in the business's interest only. So there is a problem. When you have a skewed interest towards only the money, and you're not looking at the impact it has on stakeholders, then your businesses will face compliance issues, it will face ethical issues, it will face regulatory challenges, and it may not last in the long run. So that's essentially the work that we do. So coming back to the gender discussion, I'd like to bring your attention towards the power of words, right? So, and we see how these words that we use so innocently in our day-to-day exchanges have strong power in the kind of work that you do as well. So let me ask you this question. What are some of the words that you often hear associated with being or identifying as a male? Give me some words. Protective? Yes. Caring? Strong. Leader? Freedom. Power. Freedom. Powerful. All right. Any other words? Courageous. Politician. Capable. Courageous. You're saying these are all masculine words. Some of your words are also featured there, right? So this is largely the role that is associated traditionally with being masculine. Now, next thing is, how do we train our young boys to fit into these roles? These are the qualifiers. We ask young boys to be strong, be brave. I think earlier Shreya was giving that example, right? If you fall and cry, then the boys are told, boys don't cry, come on, be brave. Just shrug it off and move on. Whereas girls will be petted and mollycoddled, and they'll be like, oh, water up. So there's this whole angle of how words are used at a very early stage to set expectations of what you should become when you grow up. Macho, there's this. So yeah, courage, and somebody pointed power, leadership. These are the traits that are inculcated in a very early age among boys. And how early are these stereotypes from the point they are born. We are tagging them with labels that boys are little monsters. They can be naughty. They are not afraid of anyone. You can do anything without worrying about the consequences. So the encouragement begins right from that start. The stereotyping begins right from that age. And this is a generalization. It may not apply to anybody because somebody did point out that men are also caring. Men are also nurturing. But these are not traits essentially always attributed as a masculine trait. Now let me ask you some words for women. What are some words that are associated with women?
Emotional,
Emotional,
petite,
petite, yeah, great.
gentle,
Gentle,
emotional,
evil. Oh, giver, nurturer, fantastic. Any other words?
sensitive,
Beautiful, pretty, a very loaded one. Okay.
soft,
Kind, yeah. Right. So we got all those words here. Okay. So we've captured some of your words here, right? So these are all not bad traits, these are essentially strengths that women have, right? But these are characteristically feminine. How do we train our young girls? You should be soft spoken, you should be well behaved. Pretty is such a loaded word, or beautiful, right? You know, that is your primary trait. Beyond that, being able to think rationally, think logically, it's not something that is attributed to women. So there are those stereotypes that are being associated, and that starts as early as being a baby where you're labeled a princess, mostly. And we all aspire to becoming princesses wearing pretty dresses, tiaras, makeup. It's all aspirational. There's nothing wrong with that, but the issue is when you're only taught or asked to be beautiful. Being pretty is more important than anything else. You are a maker, you are a woman who can make decisions, you are somebody who can manage finances, but no, prettiness is more important. So you see how much of baggage is placed there in terms of expectations. So what happens is, where your brothers or your male friends tend to be more risk-taking, you tend to be more careful. And you restrain yourself in many ways. Now let's look at some of these words in isolation. I'll use the mic. Hello? Yeah, that's better. So let's look at some of these words in isolation. These are words that essentially signify a strength of character in whoever it is found. They are words that define that you are a strong person. And these are words that define a certain softness to your character. Again, not good or bad, but these are all traits that human beings carry in equal measure. It's just the decision of what you choose to prioritize that makes you behave in certain ways. Unfortunately, in the society, we tend to associate these traits with being male and those traits with being female. Again, no problem. The problem begins when, if you're a man, if you're a woman and you carry some of these features, it is a good thing. You can be bold, you can be strong, and those are like, oh, this is a good trait. On the other hand, if some of those traits are found in a man, it's not always appreciated. So you see, there is a bias in how we think some traits are not aspirational. Adding to that are social media narratives about, what is an alpha male or all, which is completely misplaced. It is just a binary narrative that some influencers are using to divide people. Alpha males, which comes from how our primates used to be, are essentially protective, thinking decision makers, not just aggressive men who diss all women. So now let's see how this pans out in the workspace. This is a study taken from 81,000 performance evaluations, which demonstrates some of the words that earlier came up. Illogical, right? Managers use more positive words to appraise men, and managers use more negative words to appraise women. Look at the words here. More positive words, less negative words for men. And look at those words there. This is from 81,000 performance evaluations, so it's data-backed. The issue is not that men are intentionally trying to say bad things about women. That's not how it works. It is unintentional. The reason being, we somehow think that being emotional is being irrational or illogical, which is the wrong attribution of the word. And for women, what you need to understand is when you come across words like you are selfish or you're frivolous, rephrase that as I am assertive. I know what I want, so I'm assertive. That's different from being selfish. Getting labeled as a negative is common when you're a woman working in these spaces. So these are called microaggressions in the workspaces. You may not realize the weight of these words, but it will actually hinder in your promotions, in your growth, in your journey as a professional. Opportunistic. That's great. When you find an opportunity, you go for it. So you have the foresight. So when your managers are evaluating you with words like these that you're opportunistic, yes, because when I see an opportunity, I'm gunning for it, which none of them saw that. Convert the negative into a positive. That's the crucial bit. Indecisive. Temperamental. These are associated with women are too emotional. Women get easily excited and women get easily emotional about things. They start crying at the drop of the hat. These are all stereotypes. For women to get over that also, you need to understand that they are not putting you down intentionally. You need to understand that they also carry the baggage of patriarchy so much that they do not understand that these words are derogatory. They think anything that is different from the usual norm of, how men have been working for longer periods of time is how women should also work. No, women are bringing complementary characteristics to work. Women are not trying to be men. If they are competing with men, that's not to become men, that's to add those elements that were missing in their thinking. So in a lot of innovation space that I was earlier talking about in the panel, you have a lot of male founders, CEOs who are building products from a very the weightage of all kinds of aspects that have to be looked at when you're founding a new product is not often the territory of purely male or purely engineering or purely a certain kind of streams. So which is why we talk about having more people participate in the process of founding something, because you will complement what is already missing. I think Shreya had discussed this in the morning. Why do accidents happen more and why women are more likely to die in accidents? Were all of you there in Shreya's session? So you know what was the answer? Vehicles in general are not designed to... Yeah, so there are lots of design aspects. One of it is that even the crash test dummies are designed after the typical male body. So a diverse set of bodies for crash test dummies has been a very recent conversation. So you see the impact of that is that it literally leads to more deaths when accidents happen. But when these accidents happen, what do people say? Oh, women don't know. Hello? Yeah. So would you want to participate in a game to understand how this kind of works? So dish out your phones, scan this QR code. It is an anonymous poll. You've been given 5 sets of images to rate on the sexiness quotient. Your name, identity, none of it is asked for. I only get to see the percentage of men and women in the room. I'll give you 2 minutes to kind of scan that and start entering your... So you're rating it based on the hotness, sexiness quotient, and there are 2 or 3 things at play essentially here, right? Your orientation and whom you find attractive, your sexual orientation. And the second is some internalized sexism as well, of what we think is hot. Does anybody think there should be an option for neither? But the world is not fair, you don't have that option. We'll see why. Or both, yes, thank you. That came up elsewhere as well. The world is really unfair. Okay, we have some 30 responses, so that kind of gives me a feeling of what the room is like. In my usual rooms, there are more men than women. Here we have less men, obviously. So we have around 83% women and 17% men. Slightly changing now, there's one more person in the room. Right, so shall we move on? Shall we see the results? So we're talking about how AI bias, specifically in the gender case, works here. We'll talk about other aspects as well, but this is specifically gender, right? So this was the first picture on your screen. And in this room where there are more women, 60% of the audience thinks that A is hotter, and 40% of the rest of the room thinks B is hot, right? Fair enough. Next is picture 2, 79% thinks that A is hotter, and 22% thinks that B is hotter. Picture 3, what do you think? B. A. Well, I think A is hotter, obviously. Right, so 61% thinks B is hotter, and 39% thinks A is hotter, despite this being a more women audience. Okay, fair enough. See the amount of internalized sexism there? We attribute that kind of an image is generally associated with sexiness. And a man is just going on the beach and playing. There's hardly anything sexy about it. Right, number 4, right? What do you think? B is hotter. Who thinks A is hotter? Come on, he's not wearing any clothes, yaar. At least he's wearing something. 88% thinks B is hotter. Excellent. Okay, last picture, 5. What do you think? You can't see also anything. The picture composition wise, it's unfair that you don't see anything. Okay, fine. The last one is 86% thinks, 75% thinks A is hotter, and 25% thinks B is hotter. So what we have seen here is a representation of basically of a room full of techies largely, right? And what we understand of sexiness as an image. And this is largely seen in media, but now this is coming into tech. Now let us see how you fare against Google and Microsoft AI. Shall we? The scores are there below. Can you see it? So Google thinks 5 out of 5, this is hot. Microsoft thinks 100% that is hot. Picture A. Sorry, somebody said something? There are? Google is both people. It's a woke place. How do we decide Google is woke? Based on Gemini's recent mistakes? That doesn't signify. All right, next one was this. Again, 5 out of 5 for the women's image. 98% across, according to Microsoft. Next one, 5 out of 5, that image, the woman, 100% by Microsoft. Next one, 5 out of 5, 98. 5 out of 5, 97 for the woman. So even in this room, despite the sexism, despite the understanding of the biases and things like that, you still think there are some people, at least because of the representation, that we had some 70-80 largely kind of a divide on these pictures, right? Why do you think this is 100% biased? Thank you. Why do you think Google and Microsoft have 100% skew towards the women's images? Because that's the amount of male engineers in the system. Earlier, Surekha ma'am was talking about how Google has a lot more women working in their space. Yes, compared to other companies, yes. But still nowhere enough when it comes to the number of women needed. So we are thinking that this is how the world works. Why is it different for anybody else, right? What happens is, do you know what the consequences of such AI being coded is? You use social media, right? You're an engineer who wants to talk about a product that you have created, and you make a video and you put it out, let's say on Instagram. Based on the AI that feeds the product, your video will be read based on its sexiness quotient, not on the content you're delivering. So based on the culture that you are in, let's say you are in the US, sometimes based on this, your opinion might be shadow banned. So your video may not reach the number of people, the kind of audiences that you want to reach with your content, which is about product. Instead, it will reach a different kind of audience who is objectifying you. If you're wearing a low neckline and talking about something, then only the dress is the reason why your video's virality or reach will be determined. Is that fair? No. So what should be the solution? Evidently, you need to have more women engineers coding and building these systems. Now, another example, it may be a bit sensational. This is Gianluca Moro. He's experimenting wearing a bra. What is a bra? In this room, what do you think a bra is? It's a piece of clothing, right? Let's see how the AI scores the images. When photographed in long pants and a bare chest, Microsoft's algorithm gives it a 22% for raciness. When he puts on a bra, the raciness score jumps to 97. And when he holds it next to him, which is like a suggestive way of removing the bra, it gives it a 99%. So this is where the problem is. Again, yes, a bra or a lingerie is a sexual piece of item, and people of the opposite gender will get attracted to it, definitely sexual about it. But that's 50% of the population. If we do a general attribution to that, that's 50% of the population. For the rest of the 50% of the population that wears a bra, it's a piece of clothing. We're not sexually attracted to our own bras. But that opinion is not getting coded into the system. The system is purely seeing it as a sexual item. Again, reinforces the kind of stereotypes based on the kind of content that you create. This is largely related to content because it's a visual thing. Now we'll see examples of, sorry, my slide is a bit messed up there. So, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people will say, that's how the world works. This is how, systems have been so far. So what is different this time? This is a report from Center for Financial Inclusion's report called The Stories That Algorithms Tell. They have a small framework which is part of a usual larger framework, but this is easier to understand. So what you input into tech systems essentially gets coded into narratives, or what is right, what is wrong, what should be heard, what should not be heard, what is sexy, what is not sexy, what is opinion, what is not opinion, what is religiously right, what is religiously not right. Everything is getting coded into the system, and then that sets further context for how people think, behave, make decisions in recruitment, in financial systems, in how welfare is given, in how education is attributed, how you get loans. Everything gets determined by these systems. And there are historically biases which have set certain people in a marginalized group and the others in a privileged group. It's not what you see in your friends circle. A lot of people, like in the morning, I think Anup sir was also asking this question, when we say that, oh, but all my girl classmates, all of them have got a job, so where is inequality? That's not how you assess inequality. Inequality is a historic concept. It has been happening over several centuries, several ages. That's why you have some people who have advantages and some people who don't have advantage. So don't look at it in binary situations. So any model is only as good as the data that it is trained on. Black box systems make it impossible for you to know what exactly went into the decision making. And we'll see some decision-making aspects in the coming slides. You have no ways to set, unless all these foundational models that we're talking about, especially AI, you have Stable Diffusion, you have ChatGPT, all these technologies, if they don't encode aspects of explainability and transparency into their models right at the start, then there is no way you will find out how things went wrong, where things went wrong, and why you have been wronged. Let's see a few examples. This is from a study. This is based on the study. Somebody did a further exploration of ChatGPT here. They asked ChatGPT to give you a performance review of Jane and Steve. Their work is the same. Okay, these criteria are the same in the prompt for both of them. The only difference is the pronoun. So this is a woman, this is a man. Let's see ChatGPT's output there. So I won't make you read through the whole thing, just highlighted the bit there. Jane is a night auditor, while Steve is an exceptional night auditor. It has automatically decided to give it that. Jane is professional and dedicated, whereas Steve is professional and competent. In the beginning, we saw some of those words attributed to men and women, right? This is how it is attributing. Is competence better or dedication better? Dedication is more about being organized and being committed, yes. which is a good trait, but competence is what is largely sought by HR managers, hiring managers. Jane is effective, Steve is exemplary. Jane demonstrated strong command, Steve has a strong command. Jane's work gives them confidence in the records, again organized, while Steve contributes to the financial stability. How is the language model taking all this inference based on a very common prompt? Other than the gender, there's nothing different. So in conclusion, if a HR manager who's used ChatGPT to do the performance review of these two candidates, if they are to make a hiring or they have to give a promotion to a candidate, quite naturally we know who wins. So you see how a certain section is getting excluded while a certain population gets included heavily. Another example, this is ChatGPT and Alpaca, which was a Stanford's internal model. A lot of words there, it's quite evident. We spoke about many words in the beginning. Men, expert, integrity. Women, beauty, delight. Men are listeners and thinkers, while women are associated with grace and beauty. Men are respectful, reputable, authentic, whereas women are stunning, warm, and sensational. Sorry, emotional. Right, this is Safiya Noble. She wrote a book called Algorithms of Oppression. In 2008 or 2009, she called out Google's sexist and racial bias. So in the morning, I think somebody had given an example of how Google has a bias. There are tons of examples on the biases on Google. When you search for CEOs, you would only largely see male CEOs' images, whereas it was not an accurate, it was meant to be an accurate representation of the world, but it would reinforce stereotypes. So that's where it got woke. Google was trying to get woke, apparently, but so they went on to correct systems. So that's where discussions of fairness and equity have a larger, deeper discussion, which is why all kinds of diverse opinions should be part of the thing. Coming back to what Safiya did, so she called out issues like when you search for black women's hair, professional hair, you will see white women's hair, and then if you search for unprofessional hair, you will see black women's curly hair, which is natural hair. Somehow the algorithm has decided that black women's hair is not professional. Similarly, if you search for black, Latina, or Asian women, you would get largely pornographic images. So all that was called out and removed. But Bing, when it got supercharged with AI recently, this is 2023, it brought in the same biases that Google had. So when you search for professional hair women, you will largely see white women with sleek hair. And when you search for unprofessional hair, you'd largely see women with natural hair. So these decisions are being made and further reinforcing stereotypes. This is Dr. Joy Bolamani. I had earlier spoken about her, author of Unmasking AI, and she's also done this study at MIT, which brought out the discrepancies of facial recognition data. This is what she found. Facial recognition systems of IBM, Microsoft, and Amazon as well. And Face++ is a China-based company. The algorithms would recognize lighter male skin to higher accuracy as compared to, of course, darker male and darker females. When we talk about darker females, it includes brown women and brown men in this space. China has a larger accuracy for brown skin than the US products, but that's how how would this influence decision-making systems? These were the systems given to law enforcement in the US, and we know it's done elsewhere as well, but it's just not spoken about as much. When law enforcement uses this, along with historical data of who is more prone to committing crime, it will stereotype a certain race, a certain gender towards a certain proclivity of committing crime, and therefore exclude you from main systems of what you should be getting in terms of loans, in terms of education, and all these things. And you'll never come to know about these things. So based on this study, IBM and Microsoft withdrew their facial recognition technologies from the law enforcement systems. They said until it's fully correct, we won't be giving it. I'm sure some of you are already familiar with Amazon's ATS, which was rejecting women's resumes for several years. ATS is their applicant tracker system, AI enabled. purely based on the training data, which was over a 10-year period. Most technical applicants at Amazon were men. So the AI learned that it should favor male applicants. So any resume that had words like women's soccer, women health, or women colleges were automatically rejected. What happens when you apply for a job at Amazon and you get a rejection? There is no one you can ask why you got rejected. There is no recourse, there is no redress. You end up thinking you are not good enough. And that is reinforcing stereotypes. They found this error, so they've removed it. On ChatGPT, if you ask for job performances, this was again a training set, and there is another study that you could always refer, UNESCO's latest one, on how ChatGPT has all these systematic biases included. When you search for performance reviews for receptionist or kindergarten teacher, it would automatically attribute the gender she, and when you search for mechanic and construction worker, it will automatically attribute male gender. Now let's see how different it is from facts. My slide is not moving. Okay. Right, so I will, 1 second. This is a recent study by Bloomberg, which used stable diffusion to generate 5,000-ish images from the system. And then used, so those were the generated images. Let me just increase the screen size. And then they divided the skin tones from those images into these 6 different skin color categories. And then studied the professions that are attributed to these skin colors. So you will see that lighter skin color, the more lighter skin color people are attributed to architect, lawyer, CEO, politician, engineer, doctor. Darker skin colors, social worker, fast food worker, dishwasher, janitor, cashier. In our countries, it may sound a lot more resonant with what reality is, and yes, in the Western countries also it was similar, but there has been a shift based on all these progressive initiatives that we have conducted for centuries. Now that is far from reality. Now let's look at the gender breakup. High-paying occupations, look at the engineer box. There's only one woman. Everything else the AI perceives as men. So that's the spec that this whole room is. Low-paying occupations, more women. And this is far from reality, the stats show that. So this was an aggregated, consolidated set of faces based on all the faces that were generated. So you'll see the facial features on top are largely white male-ish for all the top high-paying occupations, and largely browner skin, Latina faces, brown faces are all low-paying occupations. Now, how different is this from reality? Here's how it is. So if reality is that center line, and this is US data, if reality is the center line, the AI has been this far wrong in generating women's data for the low-paying occupations of dishwasher, cashier, etc. Whereas for the high-paying occupations, it's been further wrong. This is far from reality. There are way more doctors in the US than the AI thinks there is. So this is how pre-existing inequities that have been corrected are now getting back into AI systems and further creating those stereotypes that the younger generation will think that this is accurate. Now the final punch to this line. These faces, do they look more like us? A bit more like us than the previous ones, right? And men. So again, this is just a note to say that it's not just the gender that is at disadvantage. Sometimes we think that we are men, so we might not fall into the gender issues, but here's what brown-skinned men with beards are labeled as according to AI. Inmate, drug dealer, terrorist. This is why when a lot of Indians or Asian people, when they travel to the US, they get pulled out of the line in the immigration and get questioned. Now you see, nobody is safe, so don't think that it's only the poor people who suffer. It's not us. It's okay, we will manage. We'll make more money and we'll get out of the system. The system will not leave you. All right, so you got the gist of how that works. So going back and then summarizing it, we have about 5 more minutes. So without acknowledging intent, that is Cathy O'Neill, please, if you can read the book, Weapons of Math Destruction. She's a data scientist. She's a really cool person. And yeah, she essentially talks about how without intent also we can somehow spread discrimination. With AI, the one thing that we need to understand is from this image. Everybody is in a race. Your Google, your Microsoft, your OpenAI, everybody is in a race to build a bigger model without thinking that the bigger model is not what we're trying to do here. It's actually a lemon and spoon race. It's not a race. If you drop the lemon, which is aspects of safety, security, discrimination, exploitation, manipulation, if you're not having systems that check these things, then you're not winning the race really. You're dropping the lemon, you're not winning the race. Anybody here who hasn't had a social sciences background, can you tell me what the difference between equity and equality is? Basic understanding. This is a very famous internet meme. So you might be able to tell me what the fundamental difference of equity and equality is. Want to give it a shot? All right, I'll just put up the meme. Do you recall seeing this somewhere? So this is fundamentally what equality means, where everybody should be given equal opportunities. These are the equal opportunities, so everybody can enjoy the game. But some people have some advantages historically. That's the bit that we're talking about. So ideally, equity is where each of them, based on their disadvantages, whatever it is, historical disadvantage, they are given some extra opportunity. That's called affirmative action. So then these people might say, hey, not fair, reservations for them is not a good idea, it is taking away from my merits. But the fact that they have had historical privilege often doesn't become part of those conversations. So which is why some people need this. And so then you'll say that why not give them opportunities? Because I alone can make sure that the world runs great. We don't need these people. But why are other people required in the conversation? It adds to the economy. Everybody should be contributing to the economy, right? Let's see a different example of the same thing. Now again, equal opportunities for everybody. But does that help? No. There might be some people who need an opportunity which is specifically custom-made for them so that they can participate in the economy equally. And that's not taking away anything from this person. This is a most crucial point to understand, that it doesn't take away your ability to give somebody else the other opportunity. It's not taking away anything from your side. Right, and finally, an ideal society where the barrier itself is removed and everybody can see without any special aids. You familiar with this painting? This is from a local artist in Kerala called Anujat. It is representing what women usually largely do in the households. Are you all familiar with what we, in a sense, do at home? That's a lot of unpaid care work. This is a huge, I think it's about, I have the stat coming up in the next slide. The amount that it is worth, the amount of work that women do at home is worth several $trillion. And I think this year's Nobel Prize winner, Claudia Golden's entire study is based on this gender pay gap and this aspect. Let's look at the stats. I have just summarized these bits for everybody to understand. I'm not going to the details of the stats. During the pandemic, globally, women did an additional 512 billion hours of unpaid domestic care work. It includes everything. That initial example that I shared, right? Your fathers and your brothers and your husbands and spouses are supportive of your work, but when somebody comes home, you are expected to make tea or get the water. And you are never stepping into that area that, okay, no, I won't be the one. So that adds up, because you're doing that and you're trying to build tech, you're trying to be part of the workforce, because that work is not being taken care of by anybody else. And globally, women's unpaid labor was worth 10.9 trillion. In 2020, that is 3 times the size of the world's tech industry. During the pandemic, how many guys helped out at home? Many would say that your family was helping out with washing dishes and things like that, right? Even that, 4.9 hours daily on unpaid domestic work time, and 1.6 hours by men. Finally, globally, 42% of women are outside the paid labor force. That was my mic drop moment. And the unpaid care responsibilities accordingly. And 4 out of 5 billion, Indian women, therefore. Final summary of stats. In the last 2 years, 2018 to 2023, you've had Entry-level women staying at 48, whereas leadership globally has increased from 22 to 28. But at entry level, you folks are still suffering because there are lots of systemic barriers stopping you. For every 100 men, there are 87 women who get promotion. And there are all these microaggressions that you face at work, which is your judgment is questioned, other people take credit for your ideas, you're mistaken for somebody else, you've been confused with somebody else, or comment on your appearances. These are all faced more by women than men. All right, so concluding slide, unregulated AI will make the stakes go higher. Where do we begin? Mind the language, do not take those initial words that you heard as negatives to be thrown at you. Make sure that you convert it into positives. Actively prioritize women leadership. Call out microaggressions when you hear them. And companies, organizations have to make sure that they make more inclusive, equitable workplaces. Ultimately, don't settle with the support you get. This is what we started this session with. Don't settle with the support you get. Claim your seat at the table. And to the other side, that may have some privilege, not all privileges, but some privileges, please know that helping somebody get their due does not mean taking it away from you. It's not a pie, it's just equal rights. Right? Thank you very much for your time. Any questions? Thank you.
As somebody who comes from a work space, I am someone who has actively come across those comments like leadership was a man being a leader and having command and being assertive, and a woman being tagged for as being arrogant for the same trait. It's a very common thing, and I can completely understand that point. It's very valid. And I think Sheryl Sandberg, in one of her books, Lean In, she has mentioned how for women, likability factors directly linked to the success. That's again very evident in the workspace, however progressive our community is. But as a women leader, what would be your suggestion when you are faced in your work environment with such comments where you have been tagged as assertive, or your likability factor plays into your performance review? So how would you tackle it in a practical sense?
Thank you for that question, and this may not be politically appropriate. I've worked for 20 years in the media where there's a lot of these kinds of microaggressions. My response has been a big middle finger. Afraid of my bosses further making life miserable for me, and all that has happened, but still I have made sure that I was transparent about why I'm showing that middle finger. And it's not easy. I do not recommend this unless you have real courage, and that's not saying I had courage, I was really afraid. And that's been my approach. Another thing, there are very few senior women leaders here. I would really strongly advocate when there are women who are senior, who've made it past the glass ceiling, what they should do is they should not just stop ruffling feathers anymore. If that means that there are two people who are meritoriously equal and striving for a promotion, you should look at who is being disadvantaged as well to take those decisions. It may not look fair in that moment to one person, but it has historically been unfair to the other person. So senior leaders have to take those courageous decisions on who they let past, because those the broken rung, the place where you're not getting promoted to manager is often where the issue is, because then you don't get to go on and make those decisions for other women. So yes, you have to call out microaggressions, and you have to speak to if you have women leaders in your company who are senior than you, please ask them if we can actively put bias monitors. Now in a lot of large companies, there are things like bias monitors, people who will come in and say that in your language of the review, there are these kinds of biases, please avoid doing that. So those kinds of things, steps can be put in place. It may not be there in all organizations, but we can be the ones that call out. And courage, although I started out with a great punch and all, but please look at all your circumstances before you give the big middle finger to people. But if you can see through it with transparency, with accountability, then you'll win. I have had my victories in that space. I've also lost out on a lot of things, but I've decided what kind of victory is bigger for me, and I stuck to that. So that was my journey. Thank you.